Hi guys, welcome to the Matplotlib exercises solution lecture. I hope you have already dealt with the tasks. Let's solve them in this lecture. So in the very first, we need to create a data. So let's run this cell. And if you are a Jupyter user, we need to import matplotlib.py plot as plt and set matplotlib inline so that we can see the plots within the Jupyter notebook. If you are not using Jupyter Notebook, you have to use plt.show. So let's run this cell as well to import Matplotlib and set Matplotlib inline. So in the first task, he's asking for use plt.figure and create a figure object, say figure. Let's create a figure object, fig equal to plt.figure. And then add an axis to the figure canvas, which is fig, and the left bottom width and height are given 0, 0, 1, 1. Hint is use add underscore axis. So axis equal to fig dot. So we have to add axis to the figure canvas. So we are calling figure now, which is fig. Fig dot add axis and pass in this list here. So let's run these two lines. So here we have. So we have our canvas with left bottom width and height as 0, 0, 1, 1. So the next is plot the data x and y on the axis. Let's plot the data. Axis dot plot x and y. And let's run this again and see. So this output looks like similar to what he's asking for. We need to add labels now, X label, Y label, and plot title. And we need to add legend as well. So let's add labels now. Axis dot set X. We can shift tab and autocomplete X label, which is X label. Copy this one, paste it here. Let's paste it again so that we can set title as well. So this is Y label, and let's change this to title and plot title. So what we are doing, we are setting X label as X label, Y label as Y label, and title as plot title. Let's run this code here. So now we have X label, Y label, plot title. So X label, Y label, plot title. Notice that the color of this line is green. So our color is blue. Let's pass in G here. So we are setting the plot with G as green color. So here we have the green color. Another thing now, which is legend. So create legends as shown in the plot. We can create legend. Let's press Shift Tab for axis.plot and look at the document string. If we go down, so a long documentation. So here we have label line 1 or label line 2. So we can pass in label whatever the label he's asking for. So let's pass in label here. And our label is y equal to x steric 2. And another thing, notice if you go to the output, we see the label is appearing on the bottom right corner. If you remember from your lecture, let's have a quick look on that one. Axis.legend LOC1 is upper right, LOC2 upper left, and we want lower right So LOC equal to 4. And if we want the Matplotlib to decide, we need to pass in LOC 0. But in this case, it's bottom right or lower right, we need to pass in LOC 4. So let's copy this one and simply paste it here. So our legend location is LOC 4, which is the bottom right corner. So let's run this cell now. Here we have replicated the figure. Look at that one. Everything is same. Let's go through once again. We are creating a figure object using plt.figure. Then we are adding axis here, and we are passing the left bottom width and height. And then we are plotting the data, setting the label, and giving the color as green. Then we are setting X label, Y label, title, and then we are passing the location for legend as requested. So let's move on to the next one in second task. Instructions are create a figure object. So let's create a figure object fig equal to plt dot figure. Now this is what we are creating, a figure object. Next is put two axes. Now instead of one axis we need to put two axes, and the lists for axis 1 and 2 are given. So axis 1 equal to fig dot add axis and pass in this list here. Let's copy this one, paste it here, change this to axis 2 and pass in the second list, this one. So now we have axis 1 and axis 2. Let's run this code and see how it looks like. So here we have a main axis and an inset axis. The next is plot data xz on main axis and plot data xz on small axis. Let's finish these two first. Axis 1 dot plot x and z. Let's copy this one, and axis 2 plot x and z. Let's run this cell here now. So here we have data on main axis and we have data on the inset axis, but he's asking for plot data xz on the small axis and set its limit, x limit between 1 and 2 and y limit between 0 and 5. So we have to set x and y limit for the small axis, which is axis 2. So axis 2 dot set, we know we can set limit using x lim and y lim, and we pass in the tuple which is 1 2 and 0 5 for x 1 2. Let's copy this one, paste it here to set y lim which is 0 5. Let's run this code again, and here we have 1.0, 1.5 and 2.0, and for y 0.0, 2.5 and 5. The next is replicate the figure to axis, title and legends. Let's see what he's asking for in the figure. So in the main one he's asking for set the x label as x main, y main for y label, then title, and we need to set the title for inset as well, and we need to set the legend for main. Let's go for these things. So in the main one, let's set axis dot set x. We can press tab and autocomplete, and this is X main. Let's copy this one, paste it here, paste it again, set Y label and title. This title is title main, and this one is X main and Y main. And for inset, let's copy these three, paste it here. X is 2, 2, 2, and this one is inset. Inset, Y inset, and title inset. And this one is 1, 1, and 1. So what we are doing here, we are plotting the data. We are setting the label X for main, label Y for main, and title for main. Then we are plotting the data on inset, setting its X and Y label and title. Let's run this code now. So it looks like similar to what we have in the output. It looks like we are producing the same plot now, but we can see we need to change the colors, we need to set the legend as well. So let's set the legend here. So we can pass in label equal to, what is this? Y main equal to X main square. Y main equal to X main square. And once again the location is bottom right corner, so it's again LOC4. So X is 1 dot legend LOC equal to 4. And one thing is left, we need to set the color. So main color is red and the inset color is blue. So we can pass in here R for red, and in the inset B for blue. So I hope we are done with what he's asking for. We have set the color, we have set the label, which is legend here at LOC4. We have set X label, Y label, titles, and we have set everything required for the inset as well. And we have set X and Y limits for inset as well. Let's run this code here. So here we have produced the same plot in this figure now. Moving forward to the next one, replicate the output using subplots and for loop. Here we have to use the subplot, and we know we can use subplot. What the syntax was, fig axis equal to plt dot subplots, and we need to pass in rows. How many rows? 1 row. And columns, 1, 2, 3 columns. And calls equal to 3. So let's run this thing only. Here we have. So we have 3 columns, 1, 2, 3, and 1 row. We know we can index on this axis 0, 1, and 2. And for index, we can use the for loop. So for AX in axis, what we want to do, we want to plot AX dot plot X, Y, and let's run this code here. So here we have the similar plots, but one thing, the labels are overlapping. We know we have another option here, which is fig dot tight layout. So this tight layout is going to solve this problem. Let's run this cell again. So here we have the same output now. In the fourth one, replicate the output using subplots. So once again the same thing what is in question 3, but in question 4 instead of 3 columns he's asking about 3 rows. Let's copy the code from question 3 and paste it here, and instead of rows we pass in n rows equal to 3 and n calls equal to 1. Let's run this cell here. So here we have the same output. Question 5. Plot xy, xz and xy on above empty canvases. So we have these canvases. Let's plot the data on those canvases. Now we know we can index these canvases. So index x is 0, x is 1 and x is 2. Let's grab them one by one. X is 0, call the plot and put the data x and y. Let's copy and paste them. So x is 1 and x is 2. This is x and z, and the third one is again x and y. So let's run this cell. So we have to call fig as well. Let's run this cell again. So here we have 3 canvases. Let's adjust the other parameters now. Color equal to blue, line width 3, line style dotted. For the second one, color equal to red, line width 3, and line style is we can pass in its continuous line, and for the third one, color is green, line width 3, and line style again it's a continuous line. So let's run this cell again. So here we have the same figure now. So you may notice this lighter blue color at the bottom. So we need to rerun this empty canvas first to get rid of this thing. And if we run this again, so we are getting the same output. Actually we plotted the data before setting these properties, and it was overwriting. So now when we rerun this empty canvas, we initiated from the beginning and now we have the same output. So the sixth one, resize the above plot to figure equal to 3, 4. Let's copy this code here, paste it here, and copy the line from question 4 as well. Place at the top, and now here we can pass in figure size. Fig size equal to 3, 4. Rest is same. So let's run this cell now. So here we have the adjusted figure now. So if you notice that these 3 figures are repeated, and why these are repeated? You see we have complete code in one cell. We don't need this fig. Let's hash this one, and if we rerun this thing, we have these 3 figures only, they are not repeated. In the above 2 questions, the code was splitted between 2 cells and we needed to call that fig to print that out. In the last one, he is asking for replicate the plot given below. Hint is scatter plot. So the data he is plotting is x and z. Let's pass in plt dot scatter and xz. Let's run this cell here. So here we have the similar plot, but one thing notice that these are circles. So the output we want is square. So if we press Shift Tab, we notice that marker is none by default, and none mean circles. So we need to tell here that we want marker equal to square, and for square we need to pass in s here. So let's rerun this thing. So here we have the same plot. So guys, this was all about the Matplotlib exercises. I hope now you have a good understanding on Matplotlib. Let's talk about another very useful and great library, which is Seaborn. So in the coming sections we are going to learn Seaborn. See you in the next lecture. Good luck.